there, retailers, and welcome to episode number 57 of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so happy to have you here today with us. We are going to be chatting about the 4 things that I personally believe that all retailers need to have in place and in control of in their business if they ever want to sell, franchise, or expand to a new opportunity. This is a conversation that I've had a couple of times recently for 2 different reasons. One for expanding for one of my retailers and shop owners, and one for a retailer who asked me, what do I need to have in place should I decide to sell? She's been in business for a long time, and she really wants to make sure that she has everything ready in case she decides to sell that business. So if you're wondering what you need to have in place or what you need to have control of and all of the things that we want in place to have a really healthy looking business and acting business in the eyes of a buyer or a lender, somebody who wants to maybe partner, collaborate, let's listen up today. And I'm going to share all the 4 areas that you should have really good control of. And it'll give you some guidance on where to start. So go grab a coffee, whatever you're doing, set it down, have a listen. Let's go. Running a retail business doesn't have to be so hard. Welcome to the Creative Shop Talk podcast, the go-to podcast for creative shop owners, studio owners, and independent retailers. I'm your host, Wendy Batten, retail business coach and mentor. Each week, I'll share simple, proven business strategies, inspiring stories from fellow retailers, and advice from industry experts. Together, we're going to work to find the success you want from your retail business with more profits in your till and a little more joy in your life. So first off, my friends, I want to remind you that having these goals in place, having these foundational pieces in place with your business is nothing but going to make you stronger. So even if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I'm never going to sell my baby. This is my baby. This is my passion. Maybe you just opened, or maybe you've been open for a few years. I'm here to tell you from firsthand experience, never say never. I never thought that I would step away from my retail business. I guess when we're in it and we're in the thick of it and it's going well, or, we love it, we don't think about selling, but think about it. And it did happen to me, right? So opportunities presented themselves and businesses pivoted and, opportunities were there for me. So I franchised my business. You might have to move maybe. So you maybe not want to move your business. Let's say you win $1 million and you're going to move to a tropical island. Well, what's going to happen to that shop that you have in place? And I'm not trying to be far-fetched. There are opportunities to maybe sell your business. I have sold a couple of businesses. One of the opportunities that happened to me when I owned my coffee shop, and I've shared this before, is that, my family life was really busy. My husband's business was really, really, really growing. And I had a customer approach me and want to buy my cafe. So the opportunity was there and it was the right time. And even though I loved my business, it was the right thing to do. So the same thing happened with my retail business. My coaching business was going crazy and you just can't spin all of the plates, right? So the opportunity presented itself like completely not planned to franchise my business. So I just want to tell you that sometimes there's opportunities and things that happen. I have a retailer that I work with who has a critically ill spouse. So, her priorities shifted. She never in a million years thought that she would, give up her baby or give up her beautiful business. But, we put some pieces in place and we made sure that her business was strong and so she could sell it, to find the right buyers and, all of the things. So never say never. We don't know what's happening. We don't know where we might need to pivot. Being in a position that demonstrates that, your shop is viable and healthy and, and good and professional and has growth opportunities, that's where you want to position your retail business at all times. And if not for anybody else and not for, anything that might happen, for yourself, this is where we want to be. I also have another retailer, as I alluded earlier in the podcast, She had an opportunity for incredible growth in her business. So, I can't go really go into detail, but she had an opportunity, but she needed a lot of capital to make this happen. And it was a great add on to her business. It was going to be an expansion of her existing retail business, but she needed capital. And we had the numbers and we had everything in place for it, but she needed the capital to do it. So she had to go to the bank. So even lenders, banks, lenders, partners, anything that you might ever, need to say, hey, here's my business, and stand naked and naked business wise in front of other people and say, here's what it looks like. Will you support me or lend me money or buy my business or whatever? We want it to be in the best shape it can be. We want to have the healthiest, best look in business that we can. And it's totally possible. It does not mean you have to be making millions and millions of dollars. It just means we have to have these 4 areas that I'm going to share with you today healthy. So having these 4 things are really going to make you feel strong and confident. And you're going to be able to take these snapshots of your business every now and then and say, yep, this is good. This is good. I've got a handle on these 4 areas. These are the 4 pivotal areas that, again, if I were to buy your business or I was to come in and assess your business, you want to be in the best light, right? And again, for you too, we want to feel good. If I can look at these 4 areas of my particular business at any given time and say, okay, I got it under control, it's all good, it means, it's going to feel good for me too, right? And for you as you move through your business. So grab a pen. Let's go. This is one of those episodes you're probably going to want to take notes a little bit because we've got the 4 areas for you. So the first area is, and don't panic and don't freak out, the first area is the money side of things, the financial side of our business. This does not mean that we have to be, turning over bazillion numbers of whatever, because every business is relative, right? I have shared before that I worked for a multi-million-dollar business. I was a retail manager, but the owner of the business, we were making really high numbers, but he was making really poor decisions. I was not making the decisions. He was making really poor decisions, in my opinion, on profit margins and the products that we were carrying. So we weren't making a high profit. We were making high revenue. So revenue is really irrelevant, right? It doesn't matter if you're a booth space owner or if you have multiple stores. The numbers are the numbers. What is important is that you can demonstrate that your numbers are up to date, that you have control on them, broken down by categories. If you have a POS system, that you're looking at them, that you're on top of your profit and loss, that your balance sheet makes sense. That we can look at the balance sheet and we can look at the receivables and the payables and we can look at the inventory number at any given time. Guys, we want to have that anyways, right? This is the key to retail success. But these are the things, we want to make sure we have these cleaned up. We want to have metrics available. So we want to make sure that we have data to show. We want to make sure our taxes and all of this is all caught up, that anything that we need in our business side of things, kind of under the whole, business umbrella, meaning we're up to date on any registrations and all of those things. All of that side needs to be clean and organized. And again, as I shared earlier, whether you were selling your business or whether it's just good business practice, this is key to staying on top of things. So when it comes again to the money side of it, the numbers aren't important. I mean, of course they're important, but you want to be able to be confident and clear when somebody comes in and says, what are your profit margins? You want to have an answer. What's your average sale? You want to have an answer. Like if you can demonstrate that you are on top of these things, the answer doesn't matter, because if I was buying your business or I was going to loan you money, I know that there's potential for growth, or I can make those decisions. But if you don't, you're like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. Well, my bookkeeper has the books and I don't know. And like, that's going to demonstrate that you don't really have control of your business. This is just retail 101. We really need to have this part of our business. This is part of wearing our CEO hats, right, my friends? I know I talk a lot about having our CEO hats on. This is the stuff that the CEO That CEO person I always talk about in the back room that taps you on the shoulders and says, I know you're having this beautiful time in your front of your store, but we also have to make sure that this CEO stuff's happening in the back. So it doesn't have to be that complicated. Get whatever you need done to be on top of this and know that this is important. If you are ever planning on selling, or if you ever are planning on expanding or growth, or you ever want to do any of these things, you really have to have clean and organized business, numbers and all your logistics in the background, the data. So hopefully that is clean. So we can check that off we're working towards it. And again, these are all baby steps. If you don't have all of these things right now, just make a note and we'll start working towards getting these things done. The second part is systems. If you can demonstrate that you have systems in place in your business is automatically going to be worth more to a buyer, or it's going to be easier to sell because now you can say, here's our store standards, here's our operations, here's our day-to-day list. We just covered all of this inside of my Retailers Inner Circle. We did a whole masterclass. And the reason for that is we want to have these policies and procedure manuals in place, and we want to have systems and checklists so that things are flowing in our business. And again, we can demonstrate, we have everything under control. And again, I want to remind you, whether it's a booth space or a vendor, or if you have multiple stores, it doesn't matter. The systems still need to be in place. This is how we order. This is how we stock the shelves. This is how we open, or, how we do things every day. These are our, rinse and repeat things. Think about it. If you were buying a business, like if somebody said to you, okay, well, here's our numbers, they're all in order, and here's our systems, here's our policies and procedures, and here's, all of the way we hire is all in here. Here's our hiring policies. Here is our marketing and promotion plan that we put in place. Here's how we future plan, or here's our future plans, our projections. These are all things. Can you imagine? You'd be like, wow, yeah, I'm going to buy that business. They got all their stuff together, right? Again, for yourself, think about it and think about how good that would feel just to know that you have all these things in place. Again, I know that this is, maybe for some of you, you're like, yeah, I got all this in order. But I know some of my retailers are like, oh gosh, so many things Wendy wants me to do. But I promise you, putting these, bit by bit into place, it feels so good. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be deep. Checklists, simple procedures, but just having some kind of control in your business. It's just so freeing for you, as we talk about regularly here. It's also going to demonstrate your professionalism and that you have everything together. You've got a really good business running here, right? The next point, I guess, is some people say it's kind of ambiguous, but it's not really. It's your reputation. And a lot of people don't talk about reputation, but I believe personally that reputation is super important. I mean, to me, I'm going to want to buy a business that everybody loves, that has a really great reputation. It's going to be so much easier for you to sell or, pivot or expand a business that has a wonderful relationship, reputation and relationship. Well, I said relationship. I guess that kind of came out because that's really where, to me, business is growing and growth happens. If you're listening to this, chances are you're probably a heartfelt, passionate entrepreneur, and this is how we build our business, right? We build our business through reputation. We need to also be able to prove that or show that. So we want to be looking at tracking our metrics in our social media, show the growth that's happening in our social media. Again, if you're in my Retailers Inner Circle, we have a monthly document that is given at the beginning of every month, and it's called the dashboard. And it's really a dashboard because I feel like I think of it like the dashboard of where you're headed with your business. And, it's the cockpit, if you will, of the airplane, of where we're flying to. So on that dashboard, on the very first sheet, we track our metrics, like, what is the number of social media followers, what's working, what's not working. We do all of those things right there on the front page of the dashboard. By keeping these notes and by keeping this dashboard, and it's I think it's 7 or 8 pages now. In keeping those, we can go back and we can demonstrate, we can show whether you have that on a Google Doc or whether you have it on this dashboard that we provide inside our Retailers Inner Circle. This is a document, or this is just statistics that are going to just show, oh, wow, you are growing. And this is also, I'm not into vanity metrics. By that, I mean, it doesn't really matter how many followers you have. I mean, it does and it doesn't. We want to show growth. We don't want to be going downhill. But, it doesn't matter if you have 1 million followers or you have 100 followers on your Facebook page and Instagram. It's, are they the right people and are they coming into your shop and buying it? So we do track things like, your you get in social media, whether you have a healthy, regular return client rate, those types of things, that really makes a difference for your reputation, right? Also, silly as this sounds, but it's important, your referral list. So what you have on your Facebook and Google My Business, and on your website, your testimonials, gathering those, it's important. Gathering those and keeping those. And then it's not a vanity thing for you, my friend. It's helpful to your business. It makes other people trust you. If you are building a business, and I bet you are. I bet you're building a business, from your heart, right? Not just from greed and like I keep saying Walmarts. You guys know how I feel about Walmart, but and again, from the big box stores or the big, faceless stores, that's not what we are running. We are running heartfelt retail businesses, and we're building again those relationships. So use them, not use them, but use the words that your customers are sharing. And, how do we use those to make our business stronger? We make sure that we're sharing those on our social media and our referral list, and we ask for testimonials, and all of that does matter. And on a complete side note, your reputation is also, your word and how you treat your customers, and that, right? We know that, again, that just kind of it all ends up happening. And how do we check ourselves? How do we make sure that, our reputation is still intact? In your gut, I know I talk a lot about metrics and data and statistics, and that is all important. And that is part of our CEO role, is all of that stuff. But part of your CEO role is asking if you're standing in integrity, if you've been running your business aligned with your values, that those things matter. Those things matter so much. And if I'm all goosebumpy here, guys, it's so weird. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you can check off the box in your head or on a piece of paper every week and say, am I running my business with integrity? Am I treating my customers? Do they come first? Am I doing all of the right things? That is your reputation, my friend. And if you can check the box, yes, then you're standing in integrity and you're keeping up your values of your business. Your reputation is going to follow, right? What I'm trying, I guess, to say is, if you're treating people poorly, and maybe not, it's all about the money and it's all about, well, nope, I don't care. And you don't care about your customers, that is going to reflect on your reputation. I'm telling you right now, that's going to reflect on your reputation. So identifying what what you align with and your values and all of that is part of your reputation. And when and if you ever sell or franchise or grow, you're going to want to make sure that you're, whoever that is, you can confidently say, I stand in, here's our values and here's what we align with, and here's our mission, and we can check the box on that. And that flows and follows. So yes, the CEO and the data and all of the systems and the money and all of those things are important, and you'll hear me talk about that till I'm blue in the face. But heart and value matter too, and that's where your reputation comes in. I hope that kind of like that, there's not a list, and it's not a thing you can measure specifically, but you can tell if every week you check in with yourself. In my Retailers Inner Circle, we have what we call the CEO date at the beginning of every week, or, a document that a lot of retailers fill out. And it's just, a marketing document and a task list, I guess, is how we help retailers work on their business, not necessarily in it. But we have an end to that as well, too. So at the end of a week, we have a follow-up CEO list, and it's like a debrief of the week, right? And one of the questions is, how did I show up this week for my customers and my business? And Am I standing in alignment with my values and my mission and my core beliefs for my business? And again, you're either feeling that and doing what you feel is right with your business, or you're not. Another way to judge that, this is crazy, my friends. I'm hoping this is coming across properly, but another way to judge that is, are you sleeping peacefully about how you're treating people? You might be lying awake because of other things, because there's so much, on your mind as a retailer. But if one of the things, if you sleep at night because you treat your team, your vendors, you treat everybody well and you stand in alignment and you can rest easy on that, your reputation is going to follow. So all of that to say that is number 3 on my list is reputation, and staying in that place is really important. Another thing, a little side note to reputation, and another way to build your reputation and keep it strong if you are a brick and mortar in your retail business, is being really community minded. And I say that about your customers, as I've just been saying, but also in your community, which is a very overlooked asset for your business. Having a really good reputation in your community of being a good business to work with, to work for. That's something people sometimes overlook as well too. Are you a good boss? Are you a good place to work? Because word gets out, right? So, not word gets out, but I mean, again, that's standing in alignment and being, so your reputation is a lot of things, but, so your community, being involved in your community might be something that you want, or, the reputation you have in your community, like your town or your area, your community, which is important as well as your business reputation. So hopefully that all makes sense. Our last and fourth foundational piece that you really should have in place to make a strong business, again, if you ever want to sell or franchise or grow or expand some opportunities, is your email list. So an email list is important. It seems so trivial. It really does. It's like, what do I need an email list for? I don't like bugging people. I don't want email list. And I talk about this at length. I know, I think my retailer inner circle members sometimes get tired of me talking about, did you send an email out to your list today? Your email list is important because that's really the only thing that you own with your customers on it. So you might have a giant Facebook list, but what does that mean? Again, are they all buyers? What does that really mean? You also don't own that platform. What if Facebook goes away tomorrow? Instagram, same thing, whatever else you're on, TikTok, whatever, YouTube, whatever, it does not matter. I mean, it matters and it's important, and you want to add that into, your reputation, and, you want to be able to show on your, your systems and stuff that your everything's growing, but ultimately, your email list is really the only list where you have direct contact with your customers that you own. And you can get that from your POS system, maybe, or from your e-commerce site if you have one, or just asking customers. It is imperative that you grow your email list. And again, there's many different ways to do this, and it's, never fun to do, but this does demonstrate that you have a client list and that you can prove to, whomever might be looking, whoever you are standing naked, your business naked in front of, that you have this beautiful list of engaged email list followers. So taking time to grow your email list is really important. And it is a really big key to your customer list, because where else can you show a customer list, right? So your email list is super important. It's also like, if you can keep your data, again, on our dashboard that we have for our retailers inner circle, there's an area talking about your email list, but some retailers, take it to the next step, and they check the number of emails they sent out this week, the engagement or the open rate that they had on their email list. This is just data, and it's actually really good data for you to have. And it's important, again, back to, the data and the metrics, because then we can measure and we can improve on things that are working, we'll do more of, right? And things that are not working, we'll do less of. So that's the whole marketing talk. But, but really for your 4 key pieces, having an email list is your customer list. It's valuable. Your email list is valuable. Your location is not necessarily valuable if you're renting and people can move, and so that is important. But, your email list is your people, your people. So Hopefully, those 4 things all help you to see a big picture view maybe of your business. These 4 areas, so again, I'll recap them for you. They'll demonstrate that you are a professional retail business. You have a shop that is, professionally run. You know, honestly, my friends, whether you feel that, whether you always feel super confident and, like totally on top of it all, because a lot of us don't. I don't feel that way all the time. Like we don't feel that way, but if we have our systems in place and we have our professional hat on, our CEO hat on, it will demonstrate professionalism. It'll show growth. It'll show opportunities. And then if you have to sell, or if you want to sell, sometimes there's a have to and sometimes there's a want to, or if you choose to do something else with your business or your life, or, never say never. It's so good to have these 4 things totally in place that you can confidently stand there and be, here's my business and here's what I have. And look at me, look at my business now, look at this. And here, let me show you how we run this beautiful business. And I'm telling you, my friends, this is going to make you feel good, whether you're ever planning on selling. Because again, never say never, but it's really good. And anything can happen. I mean, again, I just want to share there's good things that can happen. There's opportunities. You might want to move, or, there's all kinds of interesting things that could happen, amazing things that could happen that might mean setting down that beautiful retail business that you've built. You might want to build another, something else. We're creative. We might want to do something else. We might want to pivot. There's all kinds of things. We might have something tragic or hard or sad happen that we have to sell our business. And we don't want to just close the doors on this beautiful thing that you've built. I'm going to say that again. Come back to me. You don't want to just close the doors and shut it down. And I know some of you are saying, but I am my business. And I'm here to tell you that if you have a retail business, you are not your business. You are the CEO. You are the head honcho, the visionary of your business. You are the director, the choir director of this beautiful business, but you are not your business. So we can ultimately have other people, we can still be the idea person for, a long time. The ultimate goal, at some point might be to sell this business. So don't think and don't ever say never. I'm, again, here to tell you that I said never. I never, ever thought that my business could run without me. I'm being totally honest. Like, how could that business run with me? I'm the one with the ideas. At the time I was a creative and a painter, and I'm like, how can it just, no, not going to work. I teach the workshops, and then, slowly and surely it didn't need me to be there. So it's easy, it never say never. I just want to remind you of the 4 things to have in place for yourself to have a strong, healthy business and to feel really confident about the big picture view of this awesome business that you're running. And if you ever want to sell, if you ever want to franchise, or again, like one of my clients, she had this amazing opportunity and she needed some capital. And, honestly, what happened was we went, I say we, like I was there with her. I was not at the bank with her, but, I was with her in spirit, and I was, excited for her and following this journey along and, helping her through all these steps. And the opportunity was great because the bank said, oh, you have all the numbers in place. And she was really worried, to be honest, because her income is not like, millions of dollars. And she was really, they took a chance on her because she was so professional and because she had control of her numbers. So let's go through it all. Your numbers, number 1, you want to have a clear and organized professional control of your data. So you want to know your profit and loss, you want to know your margins, you want to have everything in place, and you want to be up to date. You want to be able to go back and pull the data. You don't want to be behind in any of the taxes or anything, insurance, all of those things, tickety-boo. Everything has to be tickety-boo. Doesn't matter what the numbers are. It does matter that you have control on them. The second part is systems. So making sure we have our checklists, our policies and procedures in place, any kind of training manuals, as much that you can, anything that you rinse and repeat, and anything that you feel that, you could just say, here, this is how we run our business. Here's the book. You can just hand it over to them, or here's the video, or here's the documents, or here's the checklist. Marketing and promotion planning, show how you do your marketing and promotion, show how you do your future planning, being able to show, your hiring and policies and all of your HR procedures, your store operations, your day-to-day, right? Your opening, your closing checklist, all of these things. Again, they do not have to be overly complicated and deep and massive, but they just have to be there, right? So start small. If you don't have these systems in place, start small. If you're listening and you're in the inner circle, you have all of these templates inside the Retailer's Inner Circle to get you going and all kinds of training. If you are not in the Retailer's Inner Circle and you're thinking, oh, I really need these things, you need to come and check us out, because this, we're just trying to make it easier for you inside, with these systems. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to be a superwoman or man to do these things. We just have to have them in place. Number 3 is your reputation. So living by your values and aligning yourself and, checking in with yourself on all of those things and being able to demonstrate with your metrics. So again, if you're in the inner circle and you're looking at your dashboard, keep track of your metrics on your growth of your Facebook and even community involvement or anything that's going on. Having testimonials and referrals, all of those things matter. And again, number 1, standing in integrity with your business and making sure that your reputation is staying intact. Number 4 is your customer list, which is your email list. Number 4 is your email list. So we want to make sure that we have an active, growing email list. That is your customer base. That is your only thing that you own. You don't own anything else. Doesn't matter what you think. I'm saying this with love, because your Facebook, Instagram, all the social media could go away tomorrow. You only own your email list. So let's make sure, we're gathering that from either your POS system or, your opt-ins, or however you're gathering your email list, or you're asking your customers regularly. We want to make sure that we are growing our email list. So there you have it, my friends. I know this was a long episode. I really wanted to make sure that you understood those 4 key areas. If you have control of those and you feel really good and you can kind of check in with yourself every now and then. So I always like to give myself a little assessment in those areas. So, that might be your homework today. So give yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for your money, your systems, your reputation, your customer list, and identify maybe where the gaps are and where you feel like, okay, I really need to get these things cleaned up, or I really need to get a little bit of control under a certain area. And I hope that if you need any help, that that you can reach out. We have lots of support inside my coaching group, inside the Retailer's Inner Circle, as I've mentioned. And I also do one-on-one coaching with the retailers. So please reach out if there's any way I can help you. So there you have it, my friends. I am so grateful that you are here every week after week. You keep coming back. I'm so happy. If you're new around here, we have an entire library. This is episode 57. So there's lots of other support. My mission and my values is to help independent shop owners with that CEO side and get them confident and feeling courageous and happy and bringing joy back to our business, because profits and joy, and it's all meant to be fun, right? It's not meant to be so heavy and hard, right? It's meant to be fun. You opened this business for a beautiful reason. You must have had passion and personal motivation to do this. So I just want to be there to help retailers grow and thrive. That's what lights me up every day. So reach out if I can help you, wendybatten.com. You can find more information there, all our podcasts, and how I work with retailers. And again, we would love to have you inside the Retailer's Inner Circle. It is a beautiful group of retailers that are supporting one another. We have lessons, but we also have a wonderful community in there. So remember your 4 things that to have in place to sell or franchise your business or expand and growth. And really the bottom line is, my friends, we want to demonstrate professionalism so that we have all those opportunities for any growth that comes along. So thank you, my friends. We'll see you next week. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Creative Shop Talk podcast. I'm so glad that you were here to join us this week, and I hope you found value in what we're sharing here. I want to remind you that our website has all of the show notes. You can find it at wendybatten.com/podcast podcast. Everything that you need to hear about today's podcast is there. Also an opportunity if you need to reach out to me. If I can support you in any way whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. Make sure you join our Rockstar Creatives Facebook group. We will continue the conversation over there weekly. So thanks for joining us. Please leave a review, subscribe if you can, and never miss an episode. We hope to see you back here again next week. Thanks, my friend. Have a great week.